In the secluded village of Oakhaven, dusk isn't a time for rest. It's a signal to hide. As the sun bleeds purple across the horizon, windows are bolted shut. The only sound is the rhythmic, metallic click of weather vanes spinning in a breeze that bites with an unnatural chill. This is where our story begins. At the edge of the Blackwood Forest, a place spoken of only in hushed, fearful whispers. For teenagers stood at the forest's edge, driven by a mixture of bravery and foolishness. Leo, Anna, Miguel, and Carla. Leo's flashlight flickered, its weak beam struggling against the suffocating darkness of the trees. Anna, her fingers trembling, traced a path on a yellowed, ancient map. Miguel, ever the skeptic, crossed his arms, his doubt a flimsy shield against the oppressive atmosphere. And Carla, she was silent, her head tilted, as if listening to a secret frequency only she could hear. They pushed deeper into the woods, into the skeletal web of branches that choked the moonlight. The sound of their own footsteps was disturbingly loud, echoing as if the very ground beneath them was hollow. Suddenly, Carla froze. She pointed toward a clearing ahead, where a thick fog pooled like stagnant water. In the center sat an ancient stone well, its rim swallowed by blackened vines. And from it, a soft, melodic humming rose from the earth. It was a lullaby, but the pitch was just slightly off, creating a dissonant hum that rattled their teeth. It was a song of wrongness. Then, from behind the gnarled trunks, two figures emerged. They were girls, perhaps no older than the teenagers themselves, wearing white dresses that seemed to glow with a sickly, phosphorescent light. Their long, pale braids were tied with silk ribbons, so red they looked like open wounds. They didn't walk. They glided, their movements jerky and unnatural, like puppets pulled by invisible strings. The teenagers later identified them from old village records, Sofia and Valentina. But the things that approached them were not girls. Their eyes were not eyes. They were twin voids, absorbing the light from Leo's flashlight, reflecting nothing back. Sofia spoke, but her mouth didn't move in sync with the words. Her voice was a chilling chorus, 1,000 whispers layered into one. "Why have you come?" she asked. "Do you truly seek the truth?" Leo, his face drained of all color, stammered something about helping them, about breaking the sorcerer's curse that the village legend spoke of. Valentina tilted her head at an impossible angle, a dry crack echoing in the silence. She spoke of the well, claiming their secrets, their very lives, were drowned in its depths. She told them that for the dead to find peace, the living must offer back what was taken. This was the moment they had prepared for. Anna, driven by a desperate need to solve the century-old puzzle, produced the items they'd gathered from around the village. Withered flowers and frayed red ribbons, identical to the ones in the twins. Hair found snagged on briars near the forest's edge. Anna instructed the group to circle the well. As they began the ritual, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. The temperature plummeted. Their breath came out in thick, ragged clouds of white. Following Sofia's whispered instructions, they chanted the words she provided, a strange, forgotten rhyme. One by one, they tossed the red ribbons into the black maw of the well. Expectation hung heavy in the air, a hope for a celestial light, for a heavenly release, for the closure the legends promised. But as the final ribbon vanished into the darkness, the humming stopped. The silence that followed was deafening, a physical pressure against their ear. The twins, Sofia and Valentina, did not smile with joy. Their expressions twisted, transforming into something predatory. The hope in their eyes curdled into a cold, ancient hunger. And then came a sound from the bottom of the well. A wet, thumping sound. The sound of something climbing up. In that horrifying instant, the truth crashed down upon them. The sorcerer from the legends wasn't a villain who had cursed two innocent girls. He was a jailer. And the four teenagers, in their earnest attempt to bring peace, had just unlocked the cell. The ground beneath them didn't tremble with power, it cracked with rot. The illusion of beauty dissolved. The twins' white dresses decayed before their eyes, turning from gray to black. Their skin stretched thin over their bones, and their fingers elongated into jagged, needle-like claws. "The truth," Sofia whispered, her voice now a guttural, earthy rasp, "is that we were never the victims." Valentina leaned into Carla, her breath a foul stench of centuries of decay. "We didn't want to rest," she hissed. "We wanted to be invited back in." At that moment, the light in Leo's flashlight died completely. plunging the clearing into absolute, impenetrable darkness. The only things visible were the two pairs of void-like eyes, now inches away from their faces. A high-pitched rhythmic snapping filled the air, the sound of the twins' red ribbons being untied, not by the wind, but by the grasping, wet things now crawling over the edge of the well.